Okay, good evening, good evening. Good evening to everyone. Welcome to another night of math help from Mrs. Taylor. I'd like to welcome you to this Monday night. If you have a math question that you would like me to do, you can text me at 407-801-9255. Other than that, I'll just hang out for an hour and do some math of my own. Okay? So let's get started. So the focus for tonight would be like 7th grade math. I'll just do some problems that some 7th graders will see. And then we'll keep it moving. Okay, so first question says, Nicole has $25 to spend on dinner for herself. Tax on her meal is 5.5%, and she wants to tip 20% on the amount of her meal only. Excuse me. Select all the amounts Nicole could spend on her meal. So let's just this right here can be a little bit complicated when it comes to setting it up, but let's just go through it. So we'll call her meal. Let's see. We'll make the meal the variable x. Okay? So we'll say her meal plus. Hold on. I'm turning my volume down on my phone. Her meal plus what do I have here? The sales tax. Tax of her meal. So the sales tax on her meal, we need to change that to a decimal. So either the students have to know that they move the decimal 2 places to the left, so it'd be 0.055, or they just have to do the math 5.5 over 100. And I think that's something that they focus a lot on in 7th grade, is changing your percent to a fraction and making it, knowing that all percents are out of 100. So I just so happen to know that 5.5 divided by 100 is going to get me 0.055, okay? So I'm going to multiply this percent or this decimal by the price of my meal. So I'm going to add that to my equation. And then I'm also going to add on the tip. The tip is going to be on the price of the meal as well. 20% of means multiply the meal, which is x. So I guess I could have used another letter, but it's bx. And we can just say multiply. That's what we're doing here. We're multiplying. Well, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So this right here is going to be 0.2 times x. Or you have to know that 20% is the same as 20 over 100. Okay? And so all of that has to be equal to or less than or equal to, what did it say, equal to $25. Okay? But let's just do the math. So this is a 1 here, unless otherwise understood. If there's no number in front of the x, it's understood to be a 1. So if we add all of this up together, we get 1.255x is equal to 25. Okay? In order to solve for x, you have to divide both sides by 1.255. And then because I ain't no student, I'm going to use a calculator. So my calculator work is going to get me 1992. Okay, so the price of a meal can be $19.92. I mean $19.92 or less. That could be the price of the meal. So let's go look at our answer choices. It says select all the amounts Nicole could spend on her meal. Well, she could spend anything she wanted looking at these prices as long as it's less than $19.92. That way she can afford the tax and the tip on the meal without going over her budget. So we're going to select the $13, the $14.79, the $15.85, and the $18.60. We'll select those four prices because those prices for the meal will not take her over $25, with including the tax and the tip. Okay, let's go to another problem. For this question here, it says a number line is shown. It says use the add point tool. That's something that's on FSA to plot a point that is 14.5 units from 8 on the given number line. So if you're trying to find 14.5, naturally you're going to go to the right. You want to just go this way. But there's no more graph going to the right. So you have to go to the left. But you have to count 14 spaces, 14 and a half spaces to the left. So you can either subtract this number from 8 minus 14.5, or you could just count. But you have to end up in the right location. So let's count. Let's do old fashioned. Let's just count because we're not trying to be fancy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half. So you gotta put your dot right there in the middle. Okay? Now where is that located? So according to this is -5, this is -6, so it's -6 and a half. So it should be -6.5. It's going to be the location that is 14 and a half units away from the number 8 on the number line. Okay? But what's the way to get that mathematically? So what you could do is say 8, and this is probably how they're supposed to do it. So 8 minus 14.5. We could rewrite this as 8 plus -14.5. And on the side, we know that we need to subtract this. You work with rational numbers, you just subtract. And I'm not supposed to write it like that. So hold on. I know better. This is 8.0. So let's subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. And 14 minus 8 is 6. And the number, of course, is going to be -6.5. Because when you talk about absolute value, I've said this before in a live, the absolute value of 8 is 8 units away from 0. But the absolute value of -14.5 is 14.5 units away from 0. So 14.5 has the higher absolute value. So you take the sign of the higher absolute value and put it on your solution. So that's why you end up with -6.5. So there's two ways of getting this answer. You can count, or you can actually do the math. And there you have it. In this case, I probably would have counted if I was a student because I just had to put a dot in the proper location. Let's go to the next question. Okay, so for this question, this looks intimidating. Because first off, there are no numbers. Nowhere, anywhere in this problem. This problem is so intimidating. But it is so easy, y'all. It is so easy. It says a number line is shown. And you have your 0. You have A going positive way and B going the negative way. It says Jack knows that A plus B is going to equal 0. Which statement is true? So, looking at these statements, you realize, I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do with this. So, all they did was take this equation, A plus B is equal to 0. They subtracted B from both sides. That gets you a 0 pair, and so A is equal to negative B. And so you could write this as negative B is equal to A, and it's the same problem. That's your answer. Come on, put super easy in the comments if you hear me. Put super easy in the comments if you hear me. Holla if you hear me. They playing around with this problem. This is how they mess with y'all kids. Problems be looking hard. Okay. Next question. It says, an expression is shown 1 plus 2 plus negative 5 plus 4. Kendrick is using number lines to find the value of the expression. His first 2 steps are shown. A. Use the add arrow tool to show the last 2 steps. And then part B says, select the value of the expression. So if we're doing this problem, what I'll do first is actually work the problem out, and then I will show you where everything goes on the number line, or I can do it together. So the first thing you do is 1 plus 2 plus negative 5 plus 4. So I'm going to add these 2 together, and I get 3. Okay? You add 2 to get 3. And that's where you see right here, they put the arrow here, and they put it right here at 3. Then you have 3 plus negative 5 plus 4. And so you put these 2 together, and you end up at negative 2. Well, now I need to, from here, from 3, I need to go to negative 2. Now, I've never used the little add arrow tool, so I'm assuming that's what you're supposed to do. I just know how to do the math. And then you add 4, and then this answer is going to be 2. So I'm assuming from negative 2, you point to 2. And then you're done. So then it tells you what is the value of the expression, and of course you're going to circle 2 for your answer. Okay. All right, next question. So it says Megan and Jake both live on the same street that the library is on. So Jake is at 4.5 kilometers from the library, and that's L. And that's J. And Megan is 5.5 kilometers from the library. Okay. It says how many kilometers apart do Megan and Jake live? So really, you're just trying to find the distance between them. And so the distance between Jake and the library is 4.5. And Megan and the library is 5.5. And even though Jake is on the negative side, when we talk about distance, we always refer to distance in a positive manner. So you're just adding these 2 numbers together. So 5.5 and 4.5. It's going to get you 10, and you're done. So they are 10 kilometers apart from each other. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, so here it says the sum of A and B is C. The number line shows A and B. This right here is another intimidating question. You have to take your time and go through this question. This question can be hard for some adults. So I already know some of the kids don't struggle with it too. So we have the sum of A and B is C. So let's write that down. A plus B is equal to C. And then it's shown on the number line. So what we do know before we get into which statements are true. We do know that A is a positive number. Let's write down everything we know. We know that B is a negative number. Now, it appears that A is further away from 0 than B. So that means that the absolute value of A is going to be greater than the absolute value of B. Because you can tell that B is closer. So we could give them actual numbers here if we wanted to, or we could just go with the idea of what's actually going on. Okay, so let's say, for instance, let's give it a number. Let's give A a number 10, and let's give B like -2. Okay, so if I did that and I plugged those numbers in, it would be 10 plus -2, and this is going to get me 8. So that would be A plus B, and then this would be C. So you can see right now that A is going to be greater than C. So let's go over here. So let's look at our statements. It says that which statements about C are true. So we know, because we know that A is positive and B is negative, but the absolute value of A is going to be greater than the absolute value of B. We know that our answer is going to be a positive number or greater than 0 as well. So let's go over here. Is the absolute value of A less than C? So is, in our practice, our scenario is 10 less than 8, and the answer is no. Okay, is 10 equal to 8? The answer is no. Is 10 greater than 8? The answer is yes. So we'll pick this one. And then for the next problem, for the next part, it says it's with the value of C. So our value of C was 8. So is 8 less than 0? No. Is 8 equal to 0? No. Is 8 greater than 0? Yes. And that's the keeper. So I know this problem here is intimidating because there are no numbers. But who says you can't make up your own numbers based on the scenario? We could totally do that. Okay, let's keep going. For the next question, it says Springfield has an elevation of -150 feet. Greenville is 3 times as far below sea level as Springfield. What is Greenville's elevation in feet? So as a visual, what they're talking about is, let's draw a little number line. So if this was sea level, and sea level is at 0, okay? If Springfield is here at -150 feet, this is Springfield, they're saying that we got the most, Greenville is 3 times as far below sea level as Springfield. So it's like I gotta multiply this 3 times. So I'm just multiplying this by 3 in order to get to Greenville. So -150 times 3 is going to get me -450. So what is the elevation of Greenville in feet? It's going to be -450 feet. All right. Again, if you know someone who needs some help in math, tell them they can text me right now at 407-801-9255. Get themselves some help, some assistance, whatever they need. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing this math here. My focus tonight is 7th grade math. So you parents, you got you a 7th grader. This is what they have to face. And look at these letters. This is another intimidating problem. But we just got to think through it. Take your time and just do your best. So an equation is shown where x is greater than 0. So that means that x is a positive number. And z is less than 0. So that means z is a negative number. So the absolute value of x is greater than the absolute value of z. So when you have x times y equals z, it says which statements are true. Before we go diving in, I can tell you right now, some kids is going to guess and be like, boom, boom, boom. That's my answer. I ain't got time to be fooled up with this. Like I said, some adults don't have time to be fooled with this type of problem because there are no numbers other than the 0 and this 1. That's it. But you got to take your time. So here's what it means. This right here is a positive number. Positive. And again, we said that this is negative. Okay, and so if they're telling you that this number here, x is greater than z, that means we have sort of kind of like the situation we had before. So if we was on a number line and you had 0 here, and we know that z is a negative number, so this would be z here, and then this would be x here. They're telling you that the absolute value of x is going to be greater than the absolute value of z. That means that x is further away from 0 than z is. So again, we could just pick some numbers and then just go from there. So, what numbers I want to pick? Well, I don't know. I'm not going to pick anything because I got this y. So anyway, let's talk about y. X times y, I got to consider y this time. X times y is going to be z. Now, because z is a negative number, when you're multiplying, the rule for multiplication is if you multiply two numbers with different signs, then your answer is going to be negative. So that's a rule that your kid probably learned in, did they learn that in 6th grade? Oh, I don't even know when they started learning about integers. So let's just say they learn in 6th grade or they learn in early 7th grade. So the rule is when multiplying numbers with different signs, if they have different signs, then your product, which is the answer to a multiplication problem, is going to be negative. Okay, so because I know that z is negative and I know that x is positive, that means that y is negative. And so z is also negative. Okay? This is the kind of stuff that the teacher has to go through in a class with a kid, with the students. And this is time consuming, but it's so valuable for them to understand how to do problems like this, because the select all that apply questions, these are like the most missed questions because people ain't got time to be analyzing each one of these choices. But when you start analyzing like what I'm doing here, then it's totally possible to do. And you just have to teach the students how to go through and analyze this. They don't like it, but they got to do it. So you just make them do it. So anyway, let's go through our answer choices here. So it's saying which statements are true. So is y less than 0? Well, if y is less than 0, that means that y is a negative number. And we have proven that y needs to be a negative number. So I'm going to pick that. Is y greater than 0? No, because we know it's negative. The next one here says, is the absolute value of y less than 1? Or is the absolute value of y equal to 1? Or is the absolute value of y greater than 1? Now this part is a bit tricky. So here's what we have to know. Let's give some numbers to our x and our y, okay? So let's say, for instance, let's pick a value for y that is greater than 1, okay? But we know it has to be a negative number. So let's just play around. Let's say that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to negative 2. So if I multiply them together, 3 times negative 2, I get negative 6. Okay, so that would be the value of z, all right? But now let's look at the absolute value of y. The absolute value of y, oh, wait, before I do that, I gotta say this part. Let me erase this. Woo! Okay, the first thing I have to do is show you this. If I do this right here, remember this is my x and this is my z. Remember the rule about this? This rule is up here. What has to be true? The absolute value of x has to be greater than the absolute value of z. So if I test that rule out, is 3 greater than 6? And no, that's a no-no. So can my value of y be greater than, can the absolute value of y be greater than 1? The answer is no, so I can't use this one. I can't use that. So can that value of y be equal to 1? So let's try that. If I say 3 times 1, that's going to get me a 3 for the z. So this is x and this is z, okay? So they say we still got the same rule. It says that the absolute value of x has to be greater than the absolute value of z. Well, if I do that, they said greater than, they didn't say equal to. So can I use this? No, I cannot. So I gotta say nope, can't do that. So it has to be this answer here, or we hope it's that answer. So let's pick something that's a value of y that's less than 1, okay? But we also know that it could be a negative number because we're doing the absolute value of it. So let's say that y was equal to negative, we're going to keep it simple, negative 1/3, okay? If I multiply 3 times negative 1/3, I get an answer of negative 1. So this is my x and this is my z. So does it fall within that rule? And I'm going to write it down here. The rule is, let me use another color. The rule is the absolute value of x is greater than the absolute value of z. So this is going to be 3 and this negative 1. So the absolute value is 3 greater than 1. The answer is yes. So this has to be the answer. So this type of problem, you have to, hey Chris Davis, how you doing, honey? You have to really analyze this type of question with a class, and this could take all class period if you asking a whole bunch of questions to help the kids get a good understanding. But they have to know it because it's gonna be on the FSA test. Okay, so you would want to spend quality time on this or problems like this so they won't be so intimidated by the multi-select questions. Let's keep going. Okay, next question. It says at 8 o'clock, the temperature was 6 degrees Celsius. 3 hours later, the temperature was negative 13 degrees Celsius. How many degrees Celsius did the temperature change? This question is, I would say, not too difficult, but that's just me. But I think the kids will understand this better because, whoo, we got numbers now, because before we did not have any numbers. So let's see here. At 8 o'clock, it was 6 degrees Celsius, and then 3 hours later, which would be 11 o'clock, it was negative 13 degrees. So what's the temperature change? Again, you could do this on a number line if you need to, 0. And this is at 6, and then this over here was negative 13. They just want to know what's the distance in between the two. So remember when we're measuring this, we just look, we're like, here is 6 and this is 13. So it's going to be, the temperature change is 19 degrees, and that's it. So even though it dropped, I don't think you really have to put a negative sign, because what you're doing is saying 6 minus negative 13. And this really is the two negatives here. When you do the two negatives, it's going to get you a plus sign, and you get 19. Okie doke. Let's keep going. Okay, next question. Here it says the change in price of a certain brand of cereal from 2010 to 2012 is shown in the table. So for year 2010, the change was plus 30 cents, and then, or plus 30, and then in 2011 it was plus 20 cents. In 2012 it dropped back down negative 20 cents. So we just need to take our time, go through this problem. It said in 2009 the price of the cereal was $3.69. What was the price of the cereal at the end of 2012? All right, just start. So let's go. Let's put it close. 3.69. Let's add 30 cents. And so at the end of 2010, it was $3.99. So now let's add on 20 cents. And now you have $4.19. And then now let's subtract 20 cents. And you back down to $3.99. So what was the price of the cereal at the end of $3.99? I mean, of 2012 is going to be $3.99. Let's keep going. Okay, here goes some fractions. Ooh, holler in, give me in the comments if you like fractions. If you don't like fractions, just say I don't like fractions. But I like fractions because they don't bother me. I'm not scared of a fraction, but if you're scared of a fraction, it's okay. I'm here to help you. So it says, what is the sum of the two expressions? So let's just add them together. So right here, you would need to combine like terms. So let's rewrite the questions to put our terms together. So 2 over 5x plus 1/5 x plus 3 minus 1. So these terms are like terms because they have a variable, and the variables have the same exponent. So you can just add them together. And these two are like terms because they're just constants. So this is going to be 3 over 5x, and this is going to be 2, and that's going to be your sum. All right, let's keep going. For this question here, we are subtracting to find the difference of the two expressions. So with this, I need to actually distribute this negative to the 1/5 x and the negative 3. So before I start rearranging them, I need to distribute. All right, so let's write 2 over 5x plus 5. And then I'm going to write this as negative 1/5 x and then plus 3, okay? I actually could have did this without the parentheses, so let me just rearrange it now. So it's going to be 2 over 5x minus 1 over 5x plus 5 plus 3. Now we can go and combine our like terms here and here. And this is going to be 1/5 x plus 8. Here we go, here we go. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so next question. It says Maggie is buying a jacket. The expression shown represents the sales tax on the jacket, J, 0.08 J. So it says write an expression in terms of J to represent the total amount that Maggie spends on the jacket, including tax. So we want to find the total amount. Well, the jacket is represented by the variable J, and then this right here represents the sales tax. So in order to find the total amount, you just write the jacket plus the sales tax. Okay? But this is a 1 right here. And y'all, we do this every day, because how many of y'all went shopping today? I know Chris Davis works in retail, so I know he know all about this tax stuff. But thank God for computers and somebody else already programming the computer on how to calculate how much people owe. Because if we had to do this by hand, a lot of people will be out of business or they'll be gypped. That's the old word, gypped. Okay, whatever. So the answer here is 1.08 J. This would be the total amount that Maggie would have to spend on the jacket. Let's keep going. Roland is 13. Roland is 13. In 5 years, his age will be 3.5 the age of his sister Marissa. How old will Marissa be in 3 years? Well, currently Roland is 13, but in 5 years, Roland is going to be 18 years old. Okay? But when he is 18, his age is going to be, will be 3 over 2 or 3/2 the age of his sister Marissa. Okay? So the way you write it is Roland will be is the same thing as is equals 3 over 2 his sister's age, and we'll call her M. Okay? So what's Roland's age? Roland's age is 18. His sister is 3/2 that. So in order to find the answer to that problem, we need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Y'all remember that word, reciprocal? And I'm doing it wrong. So 2/3. Yeah, let me write that word, reciprocal. That's the A. So over here, cross out, and you left with M. And then let's actually do the math here. So 2 times 18 is 36. And 3 times 1 is 3. 36 divided by 3 is going to get you 12. So in 5 years, in 5 years, Marissa's going to be 12. But they said want to know in 3 years. So we just have to subtract 2 years from that, and Marissa's going to be 10. So in 3 years, she's going to be 10 years old. And that's the answer. Ooh, they like to play with the children. Y'all, some of these questions are very, very involved. and that they are expected to know how to do this. But like I said, some adults don't know how to do this. So y'all go easy on y'all kids when they in those math classes. Get them the help that they need. And don't fuss at them all the time. Y'all help these children out. Okay? Okay, so let's keep going. Let's do this problem here. It says a set of pencils sells for $1.75 and costs 40 cents to make. 20% of the profit, which is the difference between the purchase price and the amount it costs to make from each set of pencils, goes to the school. If 500 sets are sold, what is the amount of money that will go to the school? So this right here, fundraising. That's what this is. So in order to get the profit, I want a different color. Let's use yellow. So in order to get the profit, you have to find the difference between the purchase price and the amount it costs to make the pencils. Okay? So the purchase price is going to be $1.75. And then you subtract 0.40. Okay? So the profit was going to be $1.35. That's going to be your profit. All right? But the school is only going to get 20% of the profit. So you have to multiply this by 20%. So let's go ahead and do this little old school math. 1.35 times, hold on, give myself some room, 0.2. So this here is going to be 10, 7, 2, placeholder, 0, 0, 0. So 0, 7, 2, 0, and we go 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. So the school, for each set, they're going to receive 27 cents. Okay? And then they're going to multiply this by 500. So 0, 0, 5, 3, and that's going to be 13. So, and you got to go 2 decimal places. So the school profit is only going to be $135. So that's why they be pushing so hard for y'all to buy them cookies and that wrapping paper and all that. What's the other stuff you got they be selling for the holidays? The stuff that we don't want and always overpriced. That's because the school needs some money, child. So y'all help out. I know y'all hate to see y'all coworkers come up to you with that little magazine talking about, help my baby win this plastic doll. For them to sell, they sell $500 worth of product. They get this or that, child. It's just a fundraiser for the school, and then you see the school don't hardly make no money. $135, that ain't hardly no money. But it is what it is. It's not my business. Let me keep doing some math. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Ta-ta for now.